Hey guys, welcome to the next episode of the Post Position Podcast brought to you by the Painted Lines. Joining you as always is me, your host, Jack Connell at Jack Connell TPL. My buddy Harry at Harrison E. Grimm couldn't be here today, he's a little bit busy, but I do have an announcement I would like to make. We do have a third co host join us. If you've been following us on Twitter or our individual Twitters, you might have seen this. Our great friend Jack Duffy. He's been on the pod before. He's a Charlotte Hornets beat writer for the Painted Lines. He is the official third co-host for the podcast. You can find him on Twitter at Jack Duffy TPL. Jack, what's going on?
Man, I finally have an outlet to unload all of my NBA takes. So I'm excited to join you guys and talk about some all-star stuff today. I have a whole bunch of loaded takes to unveil. So let's get to it.
Yeah, so what we got coming up is we'll talk a little bit about Kobe Bryant, his tragic death, and everything that's been going on with that. We have some all-star lined up. We're going to talk about the new rules, the reserves, our reactions, and then also a little bit of a mock draft for you. So let's get right into it. All right, let's get into everything. We'll start off first. Sunday morning in Los Angeles. Obviously, I think everybody knows at this point we lost Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, and seven others in a tragic helicopter accident. I think it struck every one of us to the core. I mean, we're all deeply devastated. We'll start with you, Jack. What was your reaction? Everything? How are you feeling right now?
I wasn't necessarily a Kobe fan, but being both of us being Philly guys, it's still he always had a soft spot in my heart. I remember looking at it, seeing the TMZ report, and thinking it was a joke. Um, Man, it's weird because I wasn't really a Kobe fan, but it had such an impact on me over the last like 3 days after it happened that I just couldn't imagine what some of these NBA players and some of these guys that were like really close to him or looked up to him. Because when you think about it, a lot of these NBA players are growing up without fathers. So I mean, you've seen a lot of guys talk about how Kobe was like a father figure to him, and he was this generation's Michael Jordan. And people even looked at Kobe like a god. He's a godlike figure to a lot of people. So I mean, we lost a really good basketball player, one of the best ever. We also lost a really, really good man, a good father, a husband. So I think his legacy is going to live on forever and his impact on the game and just in life in general. So it's definitely disappointing, but I mean, I don't think Kobe would say he lived his life with any sort of regret. So I think the worst part of it is just his daughter Gianna dying with him. And then the other people in the helicopter as well.
Yeah, I was at work. I heard about it about 2:40. I got bringing I work at a restaurant, bringing out baked goods out into the front of the restaurant, and I just everybody's calling me saying your mom's on the phone, and I'm getting a call. I'm like, hello, it's my sister. My sister's a little bit older than me, so it would sound like my mom to people who wouldn't know. And she's like, Jack. I'm like, what's going on? She goes, did you check your phone all? I was like, no. She goes, Kobe Bryant just died, and I was shocked. I mean, like you said, I mean, I was talking about this last night with Chris and Austin. I mean, I'm only 19 years old. I only really started watching NBA and basketball really when the Lakers and Kobe Bryant were at the tail end of their dominance. It was like 2011, 2012, and Andrew Bynum was kind of seen as possibly taking over Dwight Howard.
Sixers legend.
Yeah. But I mean, that's really when I started to watch basketball. So I knew a lot about Kobe. I know everything as many basketball players would about him. I mean, great dad, just such a great player, really inspired many others. His work ethic, and it's just really tragic to think about. I mean, obviously the Orange County baseball coach, his wife and kid. It was very devastating to see. I mean, the silver linings to see that are coming out of it is a lot of people are kind of embracing, like you see the hashtag girl dad movement. I mean, I think that people are kind of starting to realize that life isn't given to you. Like you live every day, you don't take that for granted. You have to live that to the fullest. And people are out there sharing these experiences with their daughter and in memory of him. All these players are giving their support. I mean, retiring numbers, wearing numbers in his honor. I mean, it's really terrible to see. Now so the NBA All Star game's coming up, and they have decided they're going to be paying tribute to that. We'll talk about that a little bit. They have it mixed up into their rules, but I think it's a great thing that they're doing. A lot of these teams are doing really anything they can to help out, and I mean, I can speak for all of our hearts with Vanessa and all of his daughters and the families of these other victims.
Yeah. Also, shout out ESPN's Elle Duncan for starting the whole hashtag girl dad thing with her awesome anecdote she had on Sports Center. That was definitely my favorite anecdote of anyone that shared it on like social media. So that was really cool. Just wanted to shout her out.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think that's great. I mean, it's really. I mean, I feel like a lot of. I mean, as a guy, I mean, I've always envisioned having a boy. Like I only want a boy. Now it's kind of. I'm trying to turn the other way. I'm like, hey, girl will be fine. I mean, I don't want one for a little while yet, but I mean, it's definitely I can see starting to embrace the other side for people.
Oh yeah, for sure. Don't catch me getting kids in the next 15 years. I need some time to get that money up and get all my whole career and life started. So, but yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one.
All right, so let's transition to something a little bit in the bright side here. Sunday or not? What was it? Thursday night.
Yeah.
Last night, the NBA All Star reserve list came out, and I'll go through each side, and we'll kind of give our each reaction. So for the Western Conference, Nikola Jokic, Damian Lillard, Rudy Gobert, Brandon Ingram, Chris Paul, Donovan Mitchell, and Russell Westbrook. And then the Eastern Conference, we have Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, Chris Middleton, Demonis Sabonis, Ben Simmons, Jason Tatum. So, Jack, go all first. What was your reactions to these?
All right. So I'd say my initial reaction and kind of just my whole idea is we need to figure out what is the All-Star game about, because is it choosing the best players on the best teams? Is it choosing the best players, or is it for entertainment? I think right now it's a combination of the three, but when you look at the reserve list, and you see some guys left out like Bradley Beal or Jalen Brown, or more specifically Bradley Beal, you look at, all right, well, Bradley Beal's a really good player on a bad team. It's not his fault that the Wizards are bad. But you see Trae Young starting. I know that's a lot to do with the fan voting, but you see Trae Young starting, who's on literally the worst team in the NBA. That's not Trae Young's fault, but he's putting up great numbers. But is it about good players on good teams, or is it about the best players in the league? And I think that also reflects over the Western Conference side as well. You look at Russell Westbrook and Chris Paul making it, and you see Devin Booker not making it. I think Devin Booker by far is the biggest snub. Um, I mean, if you look at the numbers, Devin Booker's averaging a little bit more points per game than Russell Westbrook. I'd say personally that Devin Booker gets the nod over Russ, but I don't think he would get it over CP3. Chris Paul has done a great job with the Thunder this year. And also the Rockets are on pace to win 50 games. And I think one thing that I think some voters, like media or coaches, subconsciously think about is not interrupting all-star streaks. I mean, you've seen Russell Westbrook been a dominant guy since like the early 2010s. Um, but you have a guy like Devin Booker who's playing really good basketball this year. If you look at the numbers among wing players this year, his true shooting percentage is 94th percentile. Assist rate is 96th percentile. Field goal percentage at the rim is 90th percentile. Field goal percentage in the mid range is 87th percentile. He's 90th percentile in drawing fouls, and his free throw percentage is 97th percentile. And then also, when you look at the numbers as well, the Suns have a 113.3 offensive rating with him on the court, and it's 100.2 without him. So I think personally, and then the ballot that I did, I'm not a voter, but the ballot that I did had Devin Booker over Russell Westbrook. But I think when you look at it from a win standpoint, that it makes sense for having Russ in over Devin Booker. But I think just overall impact on the year, I think you definitely have to give Devin Booker the nod. But that's just one of my biggest snubs.
So my way I go about thinking it is, I think the best players should be represented first. The players that deserve to be all stars are putting up great numbers should be at first, and then the successful teams should be rewarded after as filler with the next best players. So I think Bradley Beal, he's been an all star before, I believe. I mean, he should have been. I don't know the exact years. If he's been able to do that before, he's been better than that. He's at the best of his game. Then why shouldn't he be an all star? That's my feeling on it. I mean, you look at him great. I know Washington's very depleted. I mean, it's Rui Hachimura. I mean, there's not really not
That's their
much.
second best player right now. Yeah, that's crazy.
So, but I really do think. I mean, granted, I mean, I don't know. I would put him over anybody really. I mean, not anybody. But I think Lowry, he's more deserving of. I mean, I think Lowry deserves to be an all star. I mean, he's a good player, but I think when it comes to picking these guys, I mean, Bradley Beal's scoring what, like 27, 28 points per game right now.
Yeah, he's career highs in points per game and assists per game.
Yeah, I mean that's should be that's ridiculous that that's not able to be an all star. And then you go out west. I mean, are the Utah Jazz really that good? I mean, I don't know where they rank in the standings. Are they really good enough to get Rudy Gobert as an All Star? That's
I mean,
just the
yeah, I'm fine. I'm happy that Gobert finally made it. I'm happy for him personally, but yeah, there's definitely some conversation to be had about just the overall structure of the All Star game.
yeah. I mean, Ingram. I mean, it's really. I feel like you can fight him if any of the spots kind of like rather be on the East, but I really do think these were guys that were deserving of spots that should make it in. I don't think Jalen Brown should have gone. I don't think the Celtics deserve three All Stars. I really don't know if there's any team in the East that deserves three All Stars. I mean, the Bucks are good, but do they have a third All Star? Eric Bledsoe is not an All Star.
No,
Sixers, you can make a debate for Tobias Harris, maybe, but I mean, it wouldn't. It doesn't upset me that he's not an All Star. He's not that good just yet, or he wasn't good this year. So it's a lot of debating. I mean, generally, I don't think anybody really that's on the All Star list doesn't deserve to be there. It's just I think there are others that are more deserving of it.
yeah, I think I definitely agree with you there because I mean, if you look at the East, if you wanted Brad Beal to go in for somebody, if you look at it, the Pacers are a really good team this year, and if you've watched them closely, Sabonis is definitely an All Star. I think the one guy that you'd maybe look to put him in over just from how he's played this year is Chris Middleton. Because if you asked anybody on the entire planet Earth, would you say, "Hey, is Bradley Beal better than Chris Middleton?" Every single person would tell you Bradley Beal. There's not one person that would say otherwise. And when you look at the Celtics, too, this is also interesting. There's no totem pole for the Celtics with their big three between Jason Tatum, Kemba Walker, and Jaylen Brown. And a lot of times you see Jaylen Brown having the ball in his hands at the end of games, closing games out. So I think that was just definitely tough. I think um, among the public and fans, Jason Tatum's definitely more popular because he's more flashy. Jaylen Brown's a little bit more low key, under the radar type guy. Does a lot on the defensive end and kind of just fits those two things, fits the roles that Kemba and Jason Tatum can't really fill. More of that slasher guy. So I think it's just a really hard conversation to be had there. And another thing I want to talk about as well is I think the All Star game and the All NBA should be positionless. So this is just hypothetical, but let's say Steph Curry was healthy this year, fully healthy, and he was averaging, let's say on this team right now, he's averaging 32 and 7, 33 and 7. So when you look at the All Star games, there's two front court players, and there's three front court players and two backcourt players. So if you look at the West, out of Luka, Harden, and Steph, one of those guys would have been left out, and all three of those guys should have started. Kawhi is definitely, if Steph was healthy, playing at the level he was last year, Kawhi would be that odd man out. So I think it being tied to positions also hurts, and it also hurts with the All NBA teams as well because there's financial incentives that are involved with this. Like if you look at it last year with the forward spots, it was Paul George, Kawhi, LeBron, all those guys. Like one of those guys was going to be left out. So I think it's definitely a problem there. And then also you look at the East, Trae Young was a starter for the All-Star game when if Jimmy Butler, who is actually a guard and plays guard for the Heat, is literally their point guard and their main distributor, was listed as a forward or a front court player in the All-Star game. That also left either him or I'd say Pascal Siakam, so one of the two guys that were fighting for that final spot. So I think there's definitely some issues there. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I mean, to a point. I mean, I think. I mean, there's also the yin and yang. I mean, I think if they went positionless, you would see dominant centers really maybe not get recognized because there's so many good forwards. I mean, that's just the thing with how deep the talent is currently. I mean, you might not see a guy like Embiid or Jokic, Towns. One of these centers might not get an All NBA or an All Star selection just because of there isn't an exclusive center spot. I like how it is currently. It's just it sucks to be there's not everybody can be an All Star story. I mean, I mean, maybe the All Star game you flex one of, but I think All NBA you should keep the set how it is: the two guards, the forwards, and the center spot. I think that is needed.
Yeah, I think like at least I say that the All Star game is more entertainment, so positions aren't as important. I think at least for the All Star game, it should be positionless because um, I don't know because I think I honestly I agree with you a little bit on the All NBA teams because you need to recognize centers. But I think if the All Star game was positionless and there was like a quota for like all right, you need at least two centers in the All Star game for each conference, then that would make sense. So it's just kind of frustrating because uh, you just see guys like Jimmy Butler left off. It's still the All Star game. It's an entertainment purposes, and I think when you look at players all time, you want to look at All NBA team recognitions more so than All Star. I think right now people are like, oh, player X was a 15-time All Star. They don't. I think you should list All NBA first. I think that's a lot more important. Um, But yeah, I mean, I think with the All Star game, I'm not really too upset. I do want to shout out Kyle Lowry because I've been um, adamant all year about just giving him the recognition because he's not really getting that much attention this year for what he's doing in Toronto. Pascal Siakam missed over 10 games and he completely carried that team. He's averaging, last I checked, was averaging 27 and a half and 4.5. So I think shout out Kyle Lowry. He's um, shout out Thick Boys as well. I mean, he's playing really good basketball this year, so I'm happy that he got the yacht on the not on the All Star game because I saw a lot of media guys not actually vote him in there. So I'm happy that he got it.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I really didn't know that he was doing it to that extent. I mean, props to him. I mean, I didn't know he was getting 27 points per game in Pascal's absence. Now, I wanted to direct us to another set of snubs. We had the USA and World rosters really say. I didn't go and look at the rosters just yet, but I did see Matisse Thybulle was snubbed off for his lack of scoring. And Zion Williamson, I understand why they put Zion in. He's just a moneymaker, but it's kind of crazy the guy that's only played 4 games is getting in, and a guy that's what probably one of the best rookie defenders we've seen in a long time isn't. I think that's kind of ridiculous. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
and yeah, sorry, you can keep going.
No, I said, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, when you think about it, I mean, especially the Rising Stars game, compared to other events, it's a Friday night event that's flexed by itself with the celebrity game. If Zion's in that game, it literally at least doubles the amount of people watching that game. So I think just from a business perspective, you have to put him in there. Um, and I mean, I love Thibault. I think he's literally already one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA this year. Um, but when you look at it, would you rather watch Zion Williamson or Matisse Thybulle when you get down to it? And I think everyone would say Zion. I think there might be. I mean, look at the team right now.
Yeah, I
One
just pulled it
guy's
up right here.
so wait,
Do you need it?
Wendell Carter's hurt right now, so maybe Thibault could be a replacement for him. But I don't know if they do front court, back court for that. Um,
It looks
but
like it. They do
he has an
5 and
asterisk.
yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely so he'd be a front court guy. I don't know what they'd list Thibault as. He's kind of he flexes, but yeah, I mean Zion has only played in 4 games, but he's Zion Williamson. So I don't know, but I think also I want to shout out my not my team I'm a fan of, but the team I cover, the Charlotte Hornets. We're one of 2 teams right now that have 3 guys in the Rising Stars Challenge. We have Miles Bridges, Devontae Graham, and PJ Washington. So they're tied with Memphis Grizzlies, who have John Morant, Brandon Clark, and Jaren Jackson Jr. So I'm just happy that the Hornets are getting some. We'll get attention on the national stage with those 3 guys, who are
Yeah,
all
I'll
well
run
deserving.
through for everybody who doesn't know, I'll read the rosters off real quick. For US, the guards, we have Devontae Graham, Tyler Harrow, John Morant, Kendrick Nunn, Trey Young. And then the forwards are Miles Bridges, Jaron Jackson Jr., Pascal, PJ Washington, Zion. And the world, you have Alexander Walker, Doncic, Gilgis Alexander, Okugi, and RJ Barrett. And then Zvi Malachuk, Brandon Clark, Rui Hachimura, DeAndre Ayton, and Moritz Wagner. Now, my one gripe I'm looking at this is I feel that guys that are in All Star game and All Star starters should not be in the USA World Rising Star game. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that as well. Because Luka's taking up a spot, and Trey Young as well out of both sides. When we saw last year, Ben Simmons played in both, and it was really fun watching Ben Simmons do that. So I think it's, I mean, I think from a player's perspective, you want as much spotlight on you as possible, and I mean Trey Young and Luka are if they do end up playing, which I think they will if they're healthy, are going to completely light up that game. So I think also from a player's perspective as well. Playing with your fellow young guys, your draft class guys, that a lot of them are pretty close with everyone in their draft class. So I think they enjoy that, but in the same breath, you want to get everyone equal amount of attention. The NBA is a business, so then again, you look at the point Trey Young and Luka. A lot more people are going to tune in to watch them as well. So it's it's tough, but All Star Game is a business, and they're trying to make money off of it. So
Yeah, I mean, I kind of see. I mean, at least it's 1-1. It's kind of like the kind of captain each team, which is kind of nice to see. But I do think, I mean, these some of these guys need exposure in the national media and kind of benefit from that. I guess they wouldn't get that without these star players being there. I mean, it's kind of a double edged sword. So they're taking out a spot, but you're not getting the coverage without them. So I mean, I do think. maybe he should have made over. I think he should have made over Kendrick Nunn. Kendrick Nunn, he's been playing okay. I mean, he's kind of cooled off since his incredible start. I do think that was a spot maybe Matisse should have taken over him if he was a guard. Forward, I mean, I don't. I mean, Grant, I think Miles has been playing well. Jared Jackson Jr. I don't know who exactly. I think Kendrick Nunn would be the spot I would have him taking in that USA spot. I mean, I don't know how you would think if you even deserve it taking one of those spots.
Um, yeah, I mean, Kendrick Nunn is one of the what you'd say he's a starter for the 3 seed in the East right now. Um, he's playing really well, but I don't want to take anything away from what Matisse Thybulle's done. Um, he started the year off like not most consistent playing time, but he's shown again and again how dominant he is on the defensive end. So, I mean, I think this isn't a make or break for Matisse. Everyone around the league knows how good he is. He's definitely going to make one of the all rookie teams this year. So he even might make. I mean, I don't know if it's not likely, but he's going to get some votes for all defense this year as well. I mean, averaging 20 minutes per game, and his deflections per game are as high as guys that are averaging over 30 minutes per game. So, and also another thing about Kendrick Nunn is he's actually up there with Thibault with in deflections per game. Nunn's actually a very underrated defender as well, as I know he gets a lot of attention for his scoring, but if you watch the games, his defense is phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. I mean, I do think there's a lot to talk to you. I do. I don't think he'll get definitely. Like you said, I think he gets a vote. I don't think he'll be at all defensive second team. I think you'll likely see him at an all rookie second team, likely for Matisse. It's just Zion, Morant, RJ. They're going to take the first team spots. I mean, I think you'll see him as an all rookie second team. But who do you think's going to win this game? I think I got to go with USA by a wide margin.
Oh yeah, definitely USA. I mean, if you look at the rosters, just Trey Young, Jaren Jackson, Zion, Devontae Graham, and you just have a whole bunch of like flamethrowers out there. So one of those guys is going to get hot and pour 40 on it that night. So I'm actually, honestly, every single year, I'm more excited for the Rising Stars game than I am for the actual All Star game. I'd say my pecking order goes Saturday night. Well, first off, it goes fourth quarter in the All Star game goes first. The first 3 quarters are literally do not matter at all. Also, yeah, wait, before I even talk about this, I want to explain the new rules for the All Star game. So, for you guys that haven't heard yet, there's a new format for the All Star game. So, basically, the first 3 quarters are all their own separate mini games. So, the winner of each quarter gets $100,000 to charity. And then once you get to the fourth quarter, um, it's the first to 24. So basically, let's say the fourth is the winning team. You add 24 to the winning team's total, and the first to get to that point total wins. So basically, let's say at the start of the fourth quarter, Team LeBron is up 100-90. So you'd add 24 points to LeBron's team, so it'd be 124. So it's the first team to 124 points. The so Team Giannis could still actually end up winning the game if they end up scoring 34 instead of 24. So I think that's a cool twist on the game. It kind of gives people like an actual number to hit. So I think on the fourth quarter, that also improves the defense as well. So I think that kind of makes the fourth quarter, unless it's a complete blowout by then, which is usually not too much of a blowout. But I think by then, the fourth quarter, then like guys actually strap up and try for at least the last 12 minutes of the game. So I think that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I do think I do. It took me a couple minutes before it's understanding. Jack was kind of walking me through. I thought I had understood, but I had it all mixed up. Jack kind of explained everything for me. I do like this idea of the fourth quarter thing of the 24 plus whatever is that is who wins. I think it just drives these guys. I mean, for charity, everything that's going on for Kobe, just what he stood for, just his memory. I do think this will be a very competitive All Star game. Granted, in that fourth quarter, maybe I do think it'll definitely be competitive. I mean, the first three, I would hope so. I'm not exactly sure, but I am. I think it's going to be a good All Star game. I mean, I think the rosters, like I mean, we talked about. I mean, every guy in there is deserving of being an All Star. There's no guys like he shouldn't be here. So I mean, we talk about the snubs, but I mean, everybody deserves to be there in their own right. So we're gonna do something kind of fun here. We're gonna be Team Giannis and Team LeBron. Jack, since it's your first time, I'll give you the privilege. Do you who do you want to be, and who do you want to pick first? The starters, or do you want to pick to bench first?
I'll pick Team LeBron and you get first pick. How about that?
Okay, see, like the way it works is whoever gets the first pick of starters, they pick second for bench.
Right. Yeah. Got it. Yeah.
So
So
I'm,
let's do starters first. You get first pick.
and I'm LeBron.
You're Giannis.
Oh, I'm Giannis. Okay, I'm going to keep it up and active here. So Uh,
Wait, actually, I think LeBron actually gets the first pick because I think he has more votes than Giannis.
okay.
So if we're doing like how it actually is, so let me go and get. I got first pick. Um, I think LeBron's gonna go with. I think he's gonna go with Luca for first pick.
Luca. Okay. I'm going to go with probably. I think he would take his. I don't know. I think he would might go with. I would like to say he was gonna. I'm just gonna go with best player. What I would do. I would take Anthony Davis.
All right, so Giannis gets AD, and we're doing snakes. So you get two picks now.
Oh, I
You
get
get
two
one more
pick.
pick. You get one more pick. Yeah.
Okay. Um, I will take Kawhi.
Alrighty. Let me see. So I got Luca and LeBron. Give me Joel Embiid inside. Oh, that's dominant.
All right. So I'm trying to look who's left. Who's left from the West All Stars?
Oh no,
It's
I get two.
Harden.
Yeah, I get another pick again since I just
Yeah.
did. Let me see. So I got LeBron, Luca, Joel, and I'm gonna get. Give me a guard. Give me Harden.
Harden. All right. I definitely need some guard. I get two,
Yeah.
so I'll take Kemba and Trey because I need guards.
All right, and I get Siakam. So I got all the big boys. All right. So basically, I have Team LeBron is for starters. It's LeBron, Luca, Joel Embiid, James Harden, Pascal Siakam, and what's Team Giannis?
I've got Giannis, Anthony Davis, Kawhi, Kemba Walker, Trey Young.
Money. All right. Yeah. So reserves, you get first pick.
All right. I am going to go with. I think it's got to be Damian Lillard.
Ooh. Okay. Nice. Nice. Let me see here. First pick. I'm gonna go with. Um, I think LeBron's gonna go with his boy Ben Simmons,
All right.
fellow clutch athlete. And then my second pick, I'm gonna go with. I'd say LeBron goes with Jimmy. So I got Ben and Jimmy.
All right. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna say he. I'm gonna take Jokic and I think he would take. I think he's gonna take his guy Chris Middleton. I
Ooh.
think he'll probably try to snatch him up early.
All right, so my team is massive right now. I have LeBron, Luca, Joel Embiid, James Harden, Pascal Siakam, Ben Simmons, and Jimmy Butler. Uh, Next guy I'm gonna add if we're going with that. Let me see. Uh, I'm gonna go with. I think LeBron goes with his boy. No, I think he goes Tatum. So I'm gonna go Tatum,
Tatum.
and then I'm gonna go Tatum, and then Chris Paul.
All right. I'm gonna go with Donovan Mitchell and I got Bam. I'll go Bam Adebayo.
Also, one thing I want to talk about as well is if you look. So this kind of goes with my next pick. I'm getting Brandon Ingram right now, but I mean, two guys that you would not expect to be all stars a year ago are Brandon Ingram and Bam Adebayo. So I think when you look at Bam, the Heat don't have a Hassan Whiteside problem anymore. He was a big problem with the Heat. Everyone knows about that. But I think it's going to be fun if Bam and Jokic are on different teams this year to see his 2 point centers face off. So that actually leads me to my next pick. So I'm going to get Jokic, and then
I already took
oh, you took Jokic. Oh shoot, my
yeah
bad. Sorry, I'm going to take. I took Bi, and then I'm going to take Russ.
Russ. All right. And I'll finish all. I'll take Lowry and Gobert.
Got it. So basically, the teams are mock draft. Team Giannis is Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, Kemba Walker, Trae Young. Reserves are Damian Lillard, Nikola Jokic, Chris Middleton, Donovan Mitchell, Bam Adebayo, Kyle Lowry, and Rudy Gobert. And Team LeBron, who's massive. I think I literally only have 2 point guards, three if you count Ben, and four if you count LeBron. But LeBron, Luka, Joel Embiid, James Harden, Pascal Siakam, Ben Simmons, Jimmy Butler, Jason Tatum, Chris Paul, Brandon Ingram, Russell Westbrook. That'd be a pretty fun all-star matchup.
Yeah, I probably would give the advantage to you. I mean, I didn't take Harden because I didn't know he. It seems like he's been battling a shoulder injury currently, and I mean, you've seen the shooting slumps he's been having. It seems like I've heard a lot from Rockets fans is that he has a shoulder injury, and D'Antoni's kind of just been forced to play through. I mean, you've seen Houston's 7-8 man rotation, so I don't. I do think he's playing injured right now, so that's why I didn't take Harden.
Yeah, I mean, when you saw the Trailblazers game the other night, I mean, just this whole week, yeah, you can tell he's been hurt. I remember him and Dame like had contact, and I just remember him grabbing that shoulder after that. So yeah, he's definitely a bit hurt, but I think yeah, D'Antoni literally is king. Like burn the brakes off of all your players for the playoff time. We saw Chris Paul literally got forced into a hamstring injury. They were a Chris Paul hamstring injury away from winning the finals, but
And second to that
this
son.
yeah, that's a different story for a different time. I could go on a rant about that for 30 minutes, but yeah, I mean, I think I like the All Star game format now. I like that it's not conference centered. You also can bring in, I mean, let's say free agency. So let's say LeBron or Giannis kind of want to bring a guy in. So I mean, with the teams you draft, you'd be like, all right, well, I'm going to try to draw this guy to come to LA next summer. So let me draft him and kind of give him a little bit of some sweet talk. But yeah, I think All Star game is going to be a lot of fun. It's up here in a couple weeks, so it'll be a nice little week off from being on the beat. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I mean, I do think to be so. I mean, when is the actual draft itself?
It's the first week in February, so I think it's February. Is it?
Next week. Yes, that'll probably be on us very, very shortly. I mean, as of us recording this, we're recording this on Friday the 31st. I don't know whenever you guys will see this, but that is when we're talking currently.
Yeah, the also draft is on Thursday, February 6th at 7 p.m. So that'll be fun. I think, yeah, last year that was a fun little event that they put on there, so it'll be exciting. I think LeBron and Giannis picking the team, so it'll be good.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it's gonna be great. Anything else you wanted to add to this?
Um, no, I just think I'm happy Chris Paul's in there because I think he's in his perfect role on the Thunder right now. I mean, he's kind of in. He's on a team that doesn't have pressure to compete and contend, so I think he's kind of in that more of a master, like a master Jedi role, where he's got an apprentice in SGA under him, and he's not forced to win. So I think that's kind of like perfect role for Chris Paul right now. And then I'm happy Gobert got in, so we won't see any crying interviews with him this year. Hopefully he's not left off the All NBA team because I think he's definitely deserving of that. Yeah, All Star games. I'm only kind of upset with Russell Westbrook because I think Devin Booker was definitely deserving, and then Bradley Beal's arguably should have gotten a spot, but there's not really one guy in the East that would take off for Beal, so it's kind of just it's definitely tough. So and you never know, maybe one of these guys gets hurt until maybe before then, and then Beal or Booker could step in. But I don't want to wish any injuries on anybody. And also, um, Luka Doncic, his MRI on his ankle came back, and it's nothing serious. So he will definitely play in that All Star game unless he re-injures it.
Now, was that the same? What was his injury earlier in the year? Was that is it the same ankle?
Yeah, he's been hurting his ankle. Yeah.
I knew he had. I didn't know if it was the same foot or the other foot or what. But yeah, that's good. He'll be healthy. I mean, we got. I mean, we're gonna be doing a lot more posts. Just coming on. We see a lot more of this content going forward. You're gonna probably hear us talking some trade deadline stuff before the deadline. Probably some post trade deadline, NBA draft reactions. You'll be a lot is coming up in the next coming week or so. You'll be hearing us talk all about it. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Post Position Pod. Jack, you can follow Jack Duffy on Twitter at Jack Duffy TPL. Myself, Jack Connell, on Twitter at Jack Connell TPL. Be sure to subscribe to us 5 stars on Apple Pods. Check us out, the Painted Lines. You got anything else you're working on recently, Jack? You want to plug?
Yeah, so I actually just I finished some G League stuff. I talked to Joel Berry, sat down with him last night and talked to him just about recovering from his injury, and just his whole season because he came out of college, North Carolina winning national championships, had a really high expectations, tore his meniscus, and broke his tibia last year. So his whole recovery process and that, and how he's adjusted to the NBA. And then talked to Hornets' new two-way player Ray Spalding last week. So I'll have a feature on him coming out tomorrow as well, along with updated piece on James Brago's new rotation looking into the future. So got a bunch of stuff coming out for that, and then I'll probably write a piece up about the three Hornets being in the Rising Stars game. So whole lot of content.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. I mean, you always do great work, so I'm always glad to see your stuff going on. But yeah, I mean, until next time, we'll talk to you guys.